down, guys?
What's
Welcome
up?
back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show. I'm here with Xavier and Nick. Today we're going to be previewing a bunch of fights that Dana White just announced. We're going to do it in chronological order, and at the end of the video, we're going to talk about some rumored fights and let us know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Let's start. The John Jones co-main event: Yuri versus Pereira. It's official. This fight has war written all over it. This fight has knockout written all over it. Both guys have really interesting stories going in this fight. Pereira trying to become double champ after only one fight in the light heavyweight division. Yuri coming back after that nasty shoulder injury. How is he going to look? But before we get into the X's and O's, let me know your guys' thoughts on the fight.
You go first, Clark.
Uh, Honestly, just like you said, I think it'll be a war, complete war. I think it'll go back and forth, but I do think Yuri's a little too wild for his own good sometimes, and I think that's where he could get caught real bad in this fight. Um, he seems to have a pretty good chin from what I've seen in all of his fights. Even Dominic Reyes got a lot of like firm punches off on him, and he didn't crack. Glover had that big one at the end of the fight. He was dazed a little bit, but I feel like he wasn't like that dazed. So I feel like his chin's good. But I feel like against a guy like Pereira, who is a two-time world kickboxer, who's seen it all, who's seen this kind of crazy fighting style probably before. I feel like he's just seen it all. And when it gets into those close pocket situations, he'll excel in this fight. And I think he probably knocks Yuri out. Yuri could knock Pehe out because Pehe's chin, I think, is a little questionable sometimes. So I can also see him knocking out. I think no matter what, it'll be a good fight, a banger. Someone's going to sleep, but I think Pehe has the edge in every way in the striking.
I think that I used to be a lot more high on Yuri until I saw him lose on the feet to Glover. Um I think that we can all agree that if Glover doesn't shoot that ill-advised takedown, Yuri was damn near out on his feet, and like two more punches, he probably would have went down. Um Even if he hadn't gone down, if he doesn't, if that fight goes to decision, Glover wins that fight. Um, like shout out to Yuri for showing grit and getting the sub on Glover late, but like that fight, like Glover old as fuck. Like let's just not like put it past us, and he's nowhere near the striker that Pereira is. Um, so to me personally, Yuri seems to like gas a little bit. Like he's pretty, his movement works early, but I mean that heavy movement style tends to like catch up with him in like round 3 plus. Not to say like he's gassed and like can't fight on, but I think that his movement gets a little more sloppy and labored. And I see Pereira sniping him if he gets in like that days to where he's like that hittable, to where if you almost get put out by Glover, I'm sorry, like I can't see Pereira not like fucking you up, to be honest. Just catching him, I think it's gonna be a good fight. Um, Pereira might have to weather a bit of an early storm if Yuri is going, if his ring rust is not that bad early, but I do think that like once this fight gets to like round 3 on, as long as Pereira's cardio holds up, I see him just sniping Yuri, to be honest. And I think that Pereira's grappling has probably come leaps and bounds, like with all the grind. I feel like that's just mostly what he works on, bro. You know what I mean? That's like his one deficiency. I think that everyone's aware of it, including him and his camp. And I think he's constantly like evolving his grappling to the point where I don't think Yuri's gonna be able to wrestle fuck him for 5 rounds. And I just don't see him like winning in the stand up against Pereira. So my prediction would be Pereira, maybe like fourth round TKO. But like it wouldn't be super surprising to me if Yuri won, but I just don't think, like, if I had to make a prediction, I'm gonna take Pereira here.
That's
I think
interesting, Xavier,
what?
because I kind of had the opposite mindset of the whole like who starts to put it on the other guy later in the fight. I think Pereira is much more dangerous the first couple rounds, but as the fight gets like uglier and dirtier and late in the rounds, I think Yuri definitely the later rounds definitely favor Yuri in my opinion.
My thing is this: if they're both gassed, whose striking is more crisp in your mind? I would say clearly Fajeda, right?
But I think Yuri is more dangerous when exhausted, or like when the fight gets ugly, just because he's so unpredictable. And I do think in the later rounds he could definitely take Pereira down and threaten a submission or two.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I could see that, but I think that like Yuri just gets sniped. Like I don't think I've never seen like we seen what was it, round 5 against Izzy that he took him out.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like his cardio probably wouldn't be as bad at at light heavyweight, just because he's not sapping his gas tank with a bad weight cut. I would think that his cardio would probably be a little bit better. He might be able to carry his power a little bit better. And like I don't think that it would take as many shots from him if Yuri's tired to put him out. You get what I'm saying? Because if a round five Glover can damn near put him out, like I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I think you guys are disrespecting Glover a little bit. I know he was old as shit, but that was prime Glover. That was him at his best.
How is he old as shit and that's his prime? Like, come on.
That's when he won the belt.
43?
What?
43? He was like 43.
I know, but that span of those 3 fights, like he was in his prime. He was.
The only reason I disagree with that is because the very next fight against Jamal Hill, who I feel like is a very good striker, very pinpoint accuracy. He's not as creative as someone like Yuri. And I was just surprised that Glover got pieced up and couldn't get the takedown the whole fight. So that's why I would say he's not in his prime, just because of that performance, like alone. Just showed his age a little bit, Ed. Did it not?
Yeah, but like no, I agree with that fight, and that was because of the damage that he endured in the Yuri fight. I'm saying like the Jan fight and the Yuri fight; those were probably his prime like fights. That was him at his peak.
Yuri fight? Is that what we're saying?
I don't think so, Ed.
That's when he won the belts. What do you?
I just think that like that is a pretty shallow division, in terms of grappling skill sets, right? So like I feel like when Glover was a little more, in his physical prime, the people he was like having to face were like knocking his ass out. You get what I'm saying? Like you're fighting like the John Joneses of the world, people that you can't just like as much wrestle fuck. And I just think that like as he got older, it got to the point where for a good little stretch there, it would be like if Glover can get a early takedown, he could probably win a fight. If he didn't get the early takedown, he's probably gonna get outstruck, right? And then he hits this stride of like, he had a bit of a second wind of his career, but I wouldn't say that that's like his peak. You know what I mean? Like just because
that's interesting. I don't know.
Like I don't think that like that version of him beats like the younger version of him type shit.
I don't know, man.
Tough one to say. I also feel like you brought up a good point, X, about the gas tanks. I feel like that could come into play huge in this fight because both of these guys, I feel like, do drain a decent amount throughout their fights. And I feel like if it gets into those 4th rounds, it could favor Yuri. I kind of agree with that on that. If it gets in later rounds. But Pereira definitely, as long as he's not backing up constantly and like throwing a lot early, his gas tank I think should be good enough for the later rounds. But if Yuri has him on the back foot a lot, he's throwing and missing, then that could be a problem later on in the fight. So I feel like I'll be honest, I don't think this thing lasts 2 rounds. I think it goes out early. One of them's getting slept early.
Also, we haven't really touched on Yuri is apparently coming back from like the worst UFC shoulder injury of all time. He hasn't fought in a really long time, so that's definitely a big question mark.
It is that as well. That's a big factor, I think, too. He's been out for 2 years. Pereira's been fighting a decent amount. He's fighting really good guys as well.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all the signs say Pereira wins this fight.
Any closing thoughts before we move on to the next fight?
Yeah, real quick. Would you guys say that Yuri is decently hittable though? I kind of would.
Yeah,
Yes, because his offense is so bizarre. It leaves him open to a lot.
yeah,
That's my point, right? And my thing is just like I think that if you sap their gas tanks out to like, even level, like in the beginning of the fight, like anything can happen type shit. But like I think that Yuri's style is way more sloppy. And I just think that like if they're both tired, I know Pajeda has shown to carry his power late. And I don't think it's gonna take that many strikes of on a tired Yuri to put him down. That's really like the main thing that like I can't get out of my head. You know what I mean?
I just
yeah.
feel like he's. Oh god.
Like
No,
Yuri might be like, out voluming him all type of shit. But if Yuri starts to like, look like this, with his little side to side movement and shit, like look a little sloppy, start carrying the hands a little low, I can see one slip and rip and like he's fucking out. You get what I'm saying? That's kind of like I can't get that image out of my mind when I picture this fight, you know what I mean?
I just think the reason I think the later rounds favor Yuri, we've never seen Pereira really in a war like Yuri's been in, and he's never fought anyone like Yuri. I get Izzy's a great striker, but those were just test matches. This is gonna be a war, and I feel like in MMA Pereira hasn't been tested like that.
That's fair.
I
But
agree.
I feel that.
but this might be the best like main and co-main event combo like damn near of all time. Like I'm so excited for this night.
I'm not gonna lie. Can we just like give Pereira his props? If he wins this fucking fight, what this might be the best start to a UFC career ever, bro.
Oh,
Like,
100%. 2 belts and how many fights?
5 fights or something like
Yeah,
crazy.
easily.
It would, yeah, yeah. He's
All
that
right.
good, bro. He's that good.
Let's move on to UFC 296. But we're going to talk about all these fights pretty much because they all got announced. You guys want to go top to bottom or start at the bottom?
We can start at the bottom. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's right.
Great.
This,
This is the
I
best
like this
card
matchup.
I've seen. Like this is a fire card.
Good card.
Don't these guys train together or like the same camp?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think
Okay. But I really do like this fight. This is a good test for Ian Gary. And Luque looked pretty good against RDA.
this is no test.
Really?
Yes, yes. And I'll tell you why. Luke A, as good as he looked against RDA, did he not just pin him up against the fence the whole fight and just like do some dirty little shots and whatnot? That's all he did. So basically, you're telling me he's gonna pin up Ian Gary and do that same thing? Because
I'm
that's
not saying I'm picking Luque. I'm just.
okay. But I'm just saying you said it was gonna be a good fight.
I think. Oh, it's gonna be better than the fucking Jeff or whatever Magny fight. That shit was terrible.
Oh well, yeah, probably. But who knows? I was very high on Luke on his winning streak after he knocked or would he sub Woodley?
I agree. I was too. He fucked Woodley up, bro.
One of those. He looked really good. His striking, I think I've always liked his striking and how he goes about his pressure. But I don't know. It feels like he's kind of fallen off a little bit in the last few fights and hasn't looked as crisp on the feet as
Once he lost to Bilal, I feel like it was all downhill from
And the Jeff Neal fight was pretty bad.
Also, like he always had great takedown defense, and all of a sudden that's just gone. So I feel like he's going more in the wrong direction right now.
How old is he?
He's
like 34.
Yeah, he's probably kind of old. He's
Oh,
been here forever.
Yeah, it doesn't say the age.
Hey, you guys, one thing that we have to really like focus on here, I think it's gonna be a big factor that you might not think about immediately. But even in like Vicente Luque, I don't know exactly what it is, but he's coming off some type of like brain injury that like threatened his career. And even I think going into the last fight with RDA, they even said like if he starts to get hit in there, we're stopping the fight. So That's kind of like basically like they're not even gonna let him have a war anymore type shit is what it's seeming like to me.
I
Uh,
do remember something about that. Yeah.
and I just think that like I can't see a world that Machado doesn't at least put hands on him a little bit. And I just feel like if it's like, if he's rocked at all, like, and it's like questionable, we might just see an early stoppage here. Because I feel like the UFC is not gonna let him take the amount of punishment that they would the average fighter,
Okay.
because of his brain injury. So I think that needs to be taken into account.
All right, let's just all give our quick predictions. Early predictions. We can change them come fight week. I think Gary's gonna win by decision.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I think
Decision and or like third round TKO.
yeah, I feel like Ian Gary isn't aggressive enough at times to get the TKO, so I'll say decision.
Let's move on to the next fight of the card: Patty versus Ferguson. The internet's been talking about this fight nonstop. People are just kind of memeing on it, not taking it too seriously. What are you guys' thoughts on the fight, and does it move you?
It's deserved to be memed on.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at this fight. Like
who
we
would
have,
have thought, dude? Who would have fucking
yeah,
thought?
I'm very surprised this is the fight they chose to make for Patty. I guess they're just trying to. I don't see Tony winning. That's all I'm gonna say. I think after the Nate Diaz L, I think it's time to hang it up. I don't know. I don't know why he's still
This
fighting.
should be his last fight, win or lose.
Yeah, I just really don't understand. And all he just seems to be breaking down slowly throughout these fights, and I don't love it because I used to be a fan, loved watching him fight, and I think it's just his time to retire. Patty, I don't hate Patty Pivlet. I think a lot of people hate him or whatnot. I think he needs to just let go of the Jared Gordon fight and stop talking about it. And I
It's a
don't
good
think
point.
people would like hate on him so much, but he needs to forget about that fight. It's a brand new fight. First fight of the year though, so he's had a pretty long layoff. Patty should just win this fight through the striking. I think that's mainly where this fight's gonna be, maybe. I mean, I could see Patty maybe taking him down because that's kind of how Tony has lost some of his last few fights, but I kind of don't see it. I feel like it'll mainly be on the feet. Probably be a boring fight, to be honest. Maybe Patty knocks him out. I don't know. It deserves to get memed on, though. These are two fighters that aren't winning a ship anytime soon.
I've heard in the lead up to this, like once since it got announced, like Brendan Schaub, Chael Sonnen saying that Tony's gonna mop the floor with Patty. Uh I just don't see it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh.
I see Tony getting wrestle fucked and maybe like rear naked choked. On the feet, though, it's 50-50. They're both fucking garbage at this point. So
I mean, I hope that Patty in his time off learned how to move his head a little bit. If he did, this is a layup fight at this stage in Tony's career. Can you scroll down a little bit, see the odds real quick? Do they show them? Oh, they're not even there.
but Patty's a huge favorite. We saw it on Instagram.
It will be.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, yeah, Patty, yeah. But
I feel like this is just the UFC saying, "Get the fuck out of here, Tony Ferguson." And like, if you want to stick around, we're gonna build Patty up off your name type shit. I mean, this is a step down for Patty. I mean, for Tony Ferguson.
I agree.
But it's like I don't even know who I would favor. I think I would favor Jim Miller to be him now. You know what I mean? Like
oh,
he is
definitely Jim Miller, yeah.
he is just washed at this point. Shout out to you, Tony Ferguson. You had a great career, bro. I love you, bro. I was on that you might beat Habib train back in the day, and now that just seems foolish when you're getting subbed by Nate Diaz. So yeah, I just feel like I don't want to see what I feel like is gonna happen, which is like Patty sparking his ass. You know what I mean?
I don't see that personally. I just see him like submitting him, and it's just like Clark said, it's probably gonna be a boring like shit fight.
It will be.
But I
Yeah.
guess let's just move on, man. Let's move on to a much more exciting fight: Rahmana versus Wonderboy. This is This is going to be a banger fight. But is this not kind of a lose-lose situation for the UFC? Like, if Wonder Boy wins, you're killing a contender. If Rakhmonov wins, it's like,
Nah, it's a win-win in my book. We're gonna see a good fight. I think back and forth. But I think at the end of the day, Rakhmonov will try to wrestle, and I think that's where this fight's probably going to be won in the
yeah.
end. I don't know if he'll finish Wonder Boy, but it's my boy, of course, and he's undefeated with 17 finishes before the end of fights. So, as usual, he'll probably finish the fight again, as I expect my man to.
Yeah, I see this fight probably maybe round 2 sub, maybe round 3 sub. I think that if it hits the canvas, it's probably a bad news for Wonder Boy.
Probably over.
And the striking, I feel like it could be interesting, but maybe at his best, Wonder Boy might just be able to like point fight Shavkat a little bit, frustrate him a little bit with his movement. But I feel like once Shavkat gets to him, it's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Definitely a good fight though. Like I would love to see it. Like Wonder
Yeah.
Boy definitely not washed. So
He's not.
for his
And this is Wonder Boy's like last shot for sure in terms of title contention.
yeah. Do you
Hey man, shout out Wonder Boy for taking the
watch he
fight.
wins this?
This would be one of the biggest upsets in a while.
I'm saying, would you give as the UFC? Would you give Wonder Boy a title shot immediately if he wins this?
Mm, It depends on the fight I was talking about.
It depends. Like what's up with Bilal and Usman? Like that's really.
Yeah. I feel like if Bilal beats Usman, then you can't.
But in terms of like, does he deserve it? I mean, why not, bro? The welterweight, no one's fighting at welterweight. Like you just beat Rakhmonov. Like, why not give it to him, bro? Who cares?
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a little off topic, but if Bilal beats Usman, I'm calling for Usman to retire. I'm sorry.
Me too, but
I just feel like no version of prime Usman should lose to Bilal.
No,
I think Usman, even where he's at right now, beats Bilal.
I think he does too, but I'm just saying, like, if he doesn't, then that's just gonna tell me that the knees are done. You feel me?
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Hey, all we know is though that Bilal was scared of Shavkat because he didn't show up, he didn't take the fight.
I agree, honestly.
How
with
he's
that.
taking Usman, so he was scared. He was scared. We know it. That's right, Bilal. You were scared. I'm calling you out.
Clark's calling him out. All right, but yeah, I think we all have Rakhmonov. It's gonna be a fun fight, but
It'll be fun. Yeah.
this fight,
their career, different.
Pantoja versus Royval.
It's a good fight.
Respectfully, I think what's that guy's name? Should have gotten the title shot. The dude who just beat Kaikar.
Yeah.
Albazi.
I don't disagree with you. I feel like Royval has improved a lot and had a pretty big knockout in the first round against Nicola or Nikolai, whatever his name is. And I feel like Nikolai is a very good fighter. So I'm not mad at like it was between him or Albazi. There's really no one else there that can contend for right now. I think Figueiredo, he's moving up to bet. Isn't he fighting Rob Font?
I think yeah.
It might be official. Yeah, so he's moving out. Moreno isn't gonna get the fourth fight. So I mean it makes sense. I don't know if this is a rematch or not.
It is. It is.
Oh, it is. Oh, what happened the first time? Can I
think he got submitted.
Ooh.
Royval.
Oh, okay.
Let me check.
Let me see.
Yeah, he got submitted.
Second round. Okay. 2021. So it was kind of a while ago, I will say. I mean, 2 years.
Also a lot taller than I thought he was.
Yeah. Royval, he definitely brings an interesting aspect in this fight, being the taller fighter. He's very unorthodox on the feet, but he is very good on the ground. Like I'm very interested in those ground position situations and how that plays out. I think Royval could submit like catch him in a sub, but I feel like overall Pantoja's too on fire. He's looked better than he has his whole career. I think on the feet he is the better fighter. I think his aggressiveness will get to Royval, and I just feel like he is too sound on the ground to get submitted. So I think Pantoja should comfortably win this fight, but I do think Royval presents a lot of challenges on the ground because I assume it's gonna go there no matter what. The Pantoja fight, but Pantoja should win in my opinion.
I think I agree with you, to be honest.
I agree that Pantoja should win, and it's definitely more because I believe in the current form of Pantoja, more than like I don't believe in Royval. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Royval definitely like a live dog here. I would say. I would have to go back and watch their first fight. I don't think I saw that. I can't remember it at least.
I didn't see it.
But I just don't think that like Royval is gonna outside of catching Pantoja, maybe I don't see him just submitting him straight up on the ground.
Yeah, Pantoja showed a lot in that in his title win, in
And
my opinion.
I don't think that he's gonna outwork Pantoja either, like over 5 rounds. So,
Not in a 5-round fight, I don't think so.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
I think a comfortable decision or like a finish for Pantoja, I could see.
yeah, for sure. It's a fun fight, fun little title fight.
Yeah.
The division's getting a lot better, I'll say, which I'm very happy about.
Let Pantoja get a little title defense on under his resume type shit.
Yeah, before he fights Cape. All right, let's move to the main event. This fight finally got announced. Edwards versus Covington. Why don't you start us off, Clark?
Ooh, it might be over for Leon, Ed. It might be over. I will say though, the fact that Leon improved a lot in the Usman fight or the third fight does make me believe in him way more. But that was a different Usman that I've seen. I've seen an Usman that's relentless, that'll go for takedowns constantly and like do that dirty boxing style, clinch against the cage. And I didn't see that at all when they fought. I saw a dude who looked slower, didn't engage in those situations, and just didn't seem to have a game plan. I feel like Colby Covington will come in confident that he can win. I think he'll come in aggressive. Now, I will say, if it goes to the later rounds, I might slightly change my thinking just because I think if it gets to the later rounds, I do believe Leon would have stuffed the takedowns by then. Because in my opinion, if this hits the ground, I think Leon could be in a lot of trouble early. That's just my opinion. I think Colby is very ferocious on the ground. He could definitely go for the ground and pound finish early or sub. And as good as Leon has gone on being off his back, I don't think it will go well for him if he gets there in this fight. I think he's fighting a younger version of Usman who is a little less skilled in the ground and pound and takedowns and all that. But Colby Covington is a very good fighter. I think he could get him to the ground and win this fight. But if it stays on the feet, Leon definitely has the advantage. I think it'll be a fun fight, a lot of back and forth, but I think Colby through the takedowns will secure the win through that.
Yeah, I damn near agree with Clark with most of what he said. Specifically the fact that like Usman just didn't look the same in the second fight to me. I think that Usman was a lot more deterred from shooting takedowns than he once was earlier in his career. And I think maybe it's his knees. Like maybe wrestling just takes a bit more of a toll on his knees, so he's trying to strike more. But I think that a young Usman, like the Usman that took the belt off Woodley, would just keep pressuring Leon, and I don't see Leon having an answer for the constant wrestling. I also think that because of the Kobe versus Usman fight, in which their wrestling kind of canceled each other out largely, and you saw much more of like a striking fight, that we kind of as fans have forgotten who Kobe Covington is. he will shoot 25 fucking takedowns and be there like with cardio the whole time type shit. So if Leon's not prepared to stuff like takedowns for 25 minutes, I don't think like he might stuff some with his newly trained takedown defense, but I just think that Colby Covington's relentless, and I think that the gap with the cardio and wrestling is bigger than the gap on the feet. I think Leon has the striking advantage for sure, but I feel like it's not as big as the wrestling advantage that Colby would present, I believe.
Yeah, what do you think, Ed? You're a big Leon guy.
I mean, I obviously have Leon winning this fight. I'm not gonna sit here and be biased. I think he knocks him out. I really do. I think Colby, we saw from the Usman fight, like you said, X, it was wrestler versus wrestler. So there was no real threat of the takedown. But Colby is very hittable, in my opinion. He is very hittable. And also, guys, can you guys name the last ranked opponent he's beaten in the UFC? Who has Colby Covington beat recently?
Masvidal.
Masvidal, like who's retired. He has not beaten anyone in the UFC currently, and I don't even know how many years. And Leon just beat the pound for pound king 2 times in a row. He looked great doing it. I know the first fight he got dominated, but he still won the fight, man. I don't see how Colby. I don't know why everyone's so high on Colby, man. Like,
wait. I'll tell you why. The reason is he almost beat Usman 2 times. I'm just saying. Now the second time was more different because Usman got the 2 knockdowns pretty early on. But he almost beat him the first time, Ed. And he was very close to beating him the second time. So he almost beat Usman twice.
But Leon did beat Usman twice.
But okay.
Okay, but like, come on, Ed.
A Hail Mary kick, and I understand he set it up well, blah, blah, blah. It was a Hail Mary kick in the last fight.
Colby's been dropped. In his last 3 fights, he's been dropped every fight.
I agree with you, Ed, that Colby's chin is very questionable in those striking situations. I understand. I actually just don't think Leon hits as hard as Usman does. He's the more technical striker, but I don't think he hits as hard.
I just don't see the fight being on the feet. Like, I think it's gonna be way more like a grindy like fight than like a clean striking fight that Usman let him have because he doesn't want to wrestle, bro. I think Colby's knees are fine. Say what you want about his chin. I think his legs are fine, and I think that he will shamelessly grind you out. And I think that like Usman got away. Like, think about like most of what Usman's career was like. What was his biggest knock? He's a boring champion. People used to hate his fights, but he was definitely dedicated to wrestle fucking him. If you look at Usman Leon 1, like I don't think that Colby Covington has the top control that Usman does, but in terms of takedowns and like persistence, I feel like he fights just like he's just as dedicated to the takedown, I feel like. When he feels like that is his advantage. And I just feel like, because didn't he just wrestle fuck Masvidal too?
He did, but he couldn't, dude. He could not finish a washed up Masvidal in 5 rounds. Like, dude, he's not gonna be able to submit Leon or knock out Leon. There's just no way in hell.
I just think he grinds him out for 5 rounds.
I mean,
but guys, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I was gonna say, like, no, I totally get it. Like, Colby's avenue to winning this fight is totally grinding him against the fence, getting those takedowns. But guys, that's not going to be happening for 25 minutes. In between that, Leon is going to have so many opportunities to tag and hurt Colby. And Leon could definitely stuff and defend takedowns for sure.
He can early, Ed. This is the point, Ed. Like, unlike Usman in the 3rd fight, and we watched it together, Ed, so I know what I saw. I did not see constant pressure in going for takedowns at all. Like, really at all. And I don't see the same way Covington's going to fight completely different.
Well, dude, he didn't just do that for no reason. Leon was doing things in the cage that were allowing him to not get shot on.
I agree and disagree.
Ed, I feel like that's the bias talking, because we're not going to lie and act like OG Usman would not have wrestle fucked them, bro. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, like, what did Usman shoot? Like 3 takedown attempts? Like, Okay, I get it. Like, you know,
Whole
Leon
fight.
was good with the defense. He grabbed the wrist, like, you know, shifted out. But like, and then what? Did Usman try to shoot another takedown? No. Is Kobe gonna be deterred off that? No. He knows
But
his path to victory. Like, he's gonna be like on that shit. Like,
I just don't understand your guys' confidence in Colby. Like, I'm gonna keep going back to it. He has not beaten anyone like in years, literally years. He has
Yeah,
not
but
like beaten anyone.
okay. But Ed, would he not beat Bilal's ass? I hope he would
I
fight.
don't know. I don't know if he
He
would.
could beat
that's so
his ass.
crazy,
No.
Ed. That's so
What? No, dude.
crazy.
Bilal's a bad matchup for Colby. Bilal is a bad matchup for Colby.
Oh no! Oh
What? You guys are crazy.
I think that he whoops Bilal's ass on the feet is my thing.
yeah, I think it's a bad matchup for Bilal.
I don't know, bro.
I think anyone who could wrestle, anyone who could stuff a takedown is a bad matchup for Bilal. Let's just
Let's
be
look at
real.
them. I think Burns would beat Colby. I have Burns beating Colby.
That's so. You guys are you're just disrespectful, Ed. I'm not.
What? Dude, Colby hasn't fought in so long.
Hey, Burns. Okay, I'll give you Burns a little bit.
It's a matchup thing.
But see, I hate that Burns fucking broke his fucking arm or whatever in that Bilal fight. He
That
could
was
have
whack.
stopped this run, and like I don't even want to. Oh, it's just disgusting. Like, and Bilal barely beat him in that fight. Like with a man with one arm. And you're saying he's gonna beat Colby, Ed? This man
I think
barely
it's a close fight. It's a close fight.
It's a run through. It's a domination.
Bro, Colby's not knocking anyone out, bro. I'm sick of people talking about
No.
Colby's
I
strength. He has
agree with
pillow
you.
hands, bro. He has
I'm
pillow
not
hands.
saying that. I've said he's had pillow hands.
But
He has
but
no
like,
type of striking
but
to
those
threaten
pillow hands
Leon.
are gonna punch you 150 times.
Exactly.
It's an accumulation thing.
Just like how Vittori, your man Vittori he's the same fighter. Pillow hands, aggressive, going for takedowns. He's the same dude basically as Covington. He fights not as aggressive because Vittori kind of a scrub, but yeah.
I just feel like Colby's gonna get really fucking hurt on the feet. He's gonna get kicked around. He's gonna get punched. He's gonna get wobbled.
Kicked around. Oh
Get
my gosh, Ed.
he's gonna get destroyed, bro, on the feet.
I feel like okay, but Ed, we can't act like we didn't see Nate Diaz almost put him away.
Dude, we saw Masvidal almost put Colby.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
He wobbled
didn't
for like
drop
2
him.
seconds. No, he didn't drop it. The knee went down slightly. He didn't drop. Like it was one punch the whole fight, and then he got fucked the rest of the fight, Ed.
That's the same thing with the Leon thing.
Yeah, I agree somewhat. I actually felt like Nate Diaz had a way better fight than Masvidal did against Colby, but you could disagree on that one. But yeah,
I guess we're gonna have to disagree for now, boys. But
Diaz had that man on Queer Street. Can we not agree?
bro,
In round 5. In round 5. And
dude,
I mean for everything, like, can we not agree that they both have pillow hands?
exactly. Nate Diaz has pillow hands. Ed.
He has more of pillow hands. I would even argue.
I think Nate hits.
I don't know about more, but he definitely has pillow hands.
I think Nate hits harder than Colby, but I get it. Yeah, they're not knockout guys. I get that. But
I feel you. I feel you, Ed, like trying to, justify your boy winning. I feel you. So I mean, I respect it. You know what I mean? I respect it.
no, but I'm not even. I genuinely think like this is a much easier fight than the 2 Usman fights he just had. That's just my opinion.
Not the second fight, Ed. Not the second fight. That's what I'm saying. Usman was washed a little bit. Like he didn't.
But we didn't know he was gonna look washed going in that fight, and we have no idea what Colby's gonna look like going in this fight. We have an idea of what Edwards is gonna look like.
I agree with you, but I know what Colby's gonna look like. I mean, well, how long has he been off? How long has he been off?
Let's see.
A year and a half about?
I think 2 years.
No, it's not been 2 years. There's no chance. Yeah, year and a half. About a year and a half. I mean, yeah, a year and a half off, I don't think we'll make a big deal.
I mean, look at his resume, bro. Tyrone Woodley, like Robbie Lawler. This is sad, bro. This is sad.
Oh, like, okay, like he hasn't fought a lot, but like we see the talent as it is. Like
he doesn't even deserve the title.
My eyeballs, Ed. I see what I see.
Are we not gonna act like Edwards didn't fight for 2 years prior to his title shot? Like, stop.
Oh yeah, that as well, Ed. Like that man was off for like 3 years.
Yeah, racking up nothing. Yeah, because of COVID. it was COVID time.
Oh,
He was
Kobe.
gonna knock out Hamzat.
Other people were fighting Ed. Fuck you.
Dude,
Oh,
also
yeah.
the UK visa shit. The UK visa shit. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Ed. You're lucky you didn't fight Hamza. I would have finished him probably. You're lucky that fight never got made.
Hamzat rapes that man.
No,
Well, it was made. Wait, who canceled on who? I kind of.
Hamzat did. Of course, Hamzat. He got sick.
Oh yeah, he got COVID. Yeah.
No, but all right, fair enough. We will disagree. We disagree. The fight's not for a while, so maybe our minds will change.
Yeah, maybe.
Ed, no one's mind's changing, Ed. Let this be real.
I mean, you're right, bro. I'm taking Leon. He's the favorite for a reason.
I'll be honest, Ed.
I will hammer that. I will hammer that 114, man.
The last time we were watching, like, I was thinking of taking him just to follow your energy. So maybe on the day of I will, but right now, Colby.
Maybe you can sway us, man. Maybe you can sway us.
On the day of, you might sway me, but Colby for now.
I would say it's not even like by a big margin. It's not even like I think Kobe's gonna
It'll
win
be a
this
good
match.
fight. I'm not saying
No, yeah, it's a great fight. It's a great fight.
It's
It
a
really
good
is.
fight.
No, for sure. It's gonna be a great fight. And I love the whole like it's stupid, but the whole UK versus America thing, it's pretty funny. It's gonna be a good build up.
Kobe's gonna be talking this shit, and I kind of miss him.
I do, bro.
1776.
Bro,
I used to hate his ass, but once I kind of peeped that he was a good guy, I was like, okay, like,
bro, of course he's a good guy. This is an act. Come on now.
Yeah,
to be like, there's
he's
no...
a lot like I realized also like with Strickland's rise, like Strickland's clearly like crazy. Strickland's crazy. Colby's just kind of playing a character.
Strickland just lets his intrusive thoughts out.
Like
he has Tourette's, bro.
Yeah,
he
has
intrusive thoughts out.
No. Wait, it's not Tourette's. Wait, is it Tourette's? Yeah, wait.
That's
yeah,
Tourette's. Like you can't control what you say.
It's Tourette's. Yeah.
All right. But before we end the video, really quickly, Clark has some rumored fights that he wants to talk about really quickly. What do you got for us, Clark?
All right. Well, I mean, I'll jump into the first one because we kind of already glanced over it. A rumored fight between Bilal and Mr. Usman there.
See, now even I just got caught kind of hyping up Bilal. I feel kind of shitty, but like even the Usman we saw against Leon, I do not see anything Bilal has to threaten Usman with.
Nothing. It's actually a joke. Like, Bilal clearly was scared, so he took this fight because he figured, oh, the older fighter is going to fail against me. But no, it's not going to happen. It's going to be, like, I just don't see any way Usman doesn't outstrike him or out-wrestle him in this fight. I think it'll be easy. I don't know if he finishes him, but decision at least.
Do you think it'll be a 3-round or 5-round fight?
I think it'll be 3. I think it'll be 3.
Do you think either guy could take each other down, you think?
I think that, yeah, but I don't think that I would probably at this point, from what I've seen recently, like again, like this is only recency bias type shit. I would almost favor Bilal to take him down more so. But I think that Usman's defensive wrestling at least will like nullify that, and it'll become a striking battle. And Usman should be able to jab and front kick his face off. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, front kick to the body and like jab his face off type shit.
I wish this was 5 rounds.
Do you? Yeah. I don't know, man. I think Usman needs a goddamn 3, bro. Fuck.
You might be right. No, I'm scared of Bilal winning is the thing. Like he just bullshits his way to 2 out of 3 rounds. Like I'm scared some bullshit will happen.
Okay, that in that case, yeah, like 5 rounds would make it a little more definitive what we're seeing. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Make it slap it on like a fight night card and say fuck it.
We're such haters, bro. Fuck
he's just not winning. Yeah, I'm a hater. He's not winning, bro. Like he's losing this fight.
Shout out Bilal Muhammad. Shout out Chicago. You know, like
yeah, shout out, I guess. Yeah.
But I mean, like that's like I would really like fuck with him a lot less if like
honestly
he wasn't from Chicago.
It's a Juliana Pena.
The thing
is, this was a great performance. The Brady fight, that was a great performance.
It was.
But like also. You guys know damn well, like I love my fucking grindy wrestlers. You know that, but like he even has a style that like I would normally fuck with, and I just can't get behind him, bro. Like I just can't. It's like every time I think he's gonna win a fight and I want to bet on him, I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see him win.
Yeah, and he's always whining and crying on Twitter.
I think that's what it is. I think it's just like he acts entitled when I don't think he deserves to. Like
Yeah,
he,
that's 100% it.
he talks a big game like he's like fucking people up and he's barely like grinding them out type shit. That's mainly
That's
my biggest
literally what I
problem
was
with him.
thinking.
Yeah,
100%.
this is why I don't like Abdelaziz Ali. This is exactly why, because he is controlling Bilal's Twitter. That's what's going on. That's why I don't like him. Like he's just in there talking shit, but we don't know because he's running their Twitters. That's what's going on. Like that's why I don't like him. Like, bro, you're 1-3 as a fighter. Like, get out of here.
He's so boring, bro. His personality, like he's
Like,
just so boring.
that's why they want him to lose. Like, you can't market this man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think you can. Do you think you can market him?
No.
I can.
Definitely not.
Like, I'd rather have literally almost all these guys be my champion instead of fucking Bilal Muhammad.
Beat him to Shavkat, man. Fuck it. That's the fight I want to see.
I promise you, they
him.
offered him that fight.
That's
Russell
what I'm
fuck
saying.
him.
I think he's running. He's running. That's what I think. I think he's running. He chose the older dude that he thinks he can beat.
Yeah, I think Usman is a pretty bad man.
It is. He's just not gonna win.
I feel like I'm not gonna lie, like Usman looking like a very vulnerable #1 contender right now. You get me? So it's
Yeah,
like
I get what you mean, but he should beat Bilal.
I mean he should, but I mean I think that like why would like from his perspective, why would he, the #3 ranked guy, rather fight anyone below him and risk his rank? You know what I mean? Against a killer like Shavkat.
Of course.
Yeah, it's definitely the fight to take if you're Bilal.
So I'm not gonna discredit him and say he's like scared of the people that he's ducking. I just think that from a logical perspective, if he weaseled his way to 3, like I would not be trying to go down because I feel like if he goes down, he ain't coming back up. So
Doesn't have the fan support.
I could see him beating Usman, and that's what's sickening to me, bro. I could see it, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't favor it, but I could see a world, just in terms of like if Usman is as washed as he kind of looked in the last fight, and that what made me disgusted.
Yeah, I was gonna say Burns versus Bilal was a 5-rounder, and that fight was terrible.
It was.
I mean, but Burns broke his fucking hand, so he couldn't really do shit. So
no, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bilal barely won. Like, man, he running from Shavkat. I swear.
Bro. I think we all have Usman. Clark, what's the second rumored fight you wanted to talk about?
All right. Well, the second one, it's a spicy one. I feel like we might debate about this one as well. But we got Song Yadong versus Peter Yan.
Here, okay. Yeah, Jan's on that infamous like 3-fight losing streak, but he didn't look bad in most of those fights.
No, who was the last one?
Marab. Yeah,
Marab. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Marab. Yeah.
Yeah, like he looked great in the O'Malley fight. The Marab fight, he really didn't stand a chance. I don't know what the hell happened to Marab, but what are the Yadong?
I'm really high on Song Yadong. I do think he's a future champ in this division. Isn't he still like 24, 23?
He's really young. He's had a lot of fights for his age.
Like, yeah, I could see him. I don't know, man. I think that if Yan is washed, then he can win. But I think that if Yan's still as good as I think he is, I think that Yan probably wins this fight.
I think that's a fair take.
But at the same time, like if Song lands an early takedown on him, and this is like a 3-rounder type shit, like I could see problems for his ass.
I feel like it's gonna be a 5-round fight.
Yeah, the rumor is like it's the main event for China in December or January, whenever it is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the rumor for that.
I feel like I see the fight going all 5 or all 3. Like I don't see really anyone finishing each other.
I agree with that. This is what I'll say on this fight. I really want to pick Jan, but I feel like he's on such a slide right now, and his confidence is somewhat completely gone. I mean, from what I've seen, the confidence is shot, and I feel like Song Yadong is on a rise. He's killing it. I mean, even against Corey Sandhagen, I was impressed. Like on the feet, I was very impressed with him. His takedown defense was decent, but Corey was just a little too good in that area to get him down early and use his elbows to open him up well in that fight. But Song Yadong was very much in that fight. Like, like I think a lot of people thought he won the first 2 rounds of that fight, but Corey was coming back well on him and was just using his experience and skills to win that fight. But I just feel like Song Yadong might be too quick for Peter Yan. I think this is a speed situation where Yan might cover up too much and start turtling, and Song might just go at him. I don't know if Yan. I think Yan will shoot. I think he'll shoot a few times, but I feel like Song Yadong's takedown defense is too good, and he'll be able to stuff him. And I actually, surprisingly, I think Song Yadong wins the fight. I'm surprised to say that, but I think Peter Yan. It's more of a confidence thing than it's at his actual skills.